Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Is It Worth It, where I go around trying to find supplies that will be beneficial to you as an artist. Some of them might be traditional, some of them might be digital, but all in all, it is for your benefit to try and make you faster, more productive, or just have an easier time doing the things that you already love. Now, today we are going to go back to a traditional medium, and we are going to be looking at the Arteza brush pens. Now, for those of you who know me, I do not like brush pens. I am not a brush pen type of guy. We have found some that are actually pretty cool that I do support, but as we move forward, I'm trying to see if there are other brush pens that are beneficial, and these have kept coming up in promotions and people were talking about them, so I am very eager to try and see what these are all about. They're water-based, they're supposedly blendable, and yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, let's go ahead and dive on into this. We have our render paper sketchbook. Let's see how easy it is to open these. There's a nice little tab at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, oh look, if you buy one of these you get 20% off. If you join their club, you get 20% off. It's a nice deal. Okay. Oh. Okay, a nice little tray. So the feel of the pen's really nice. You know, it's not too thick, not too thin. It's got a nice strong cap on there, so it's got a nice tight fit, so you don't have to worry about it drying out, so that's cool. The brush itself looks like it has a fantastic tip, really sharp tip, so it looks nice. Alright, move the tray over a little bit. Let's see. Oh, let's get a nice line. Doesn't like going too fast. At least this one doesn't. It dries out right as you start pulling it. Okay, maybe it's just this pen. Ooh. Okay. Seems as though mine seem to be a wee bit dry. Yeah, mine all seem to be a little dry. Or maybe it's just, you know, this is not meant to go really fast. Because when I slow it down, the color's all there. And since it's a water-based color, it doesn't go on too thick. But so far, all of my pens have been dry. But I do like the brush. Right, it's got you can get nice real thin lines if you watch how heavy you push, and you can get some really nice thick to thin. So these are actually pretty cool for the pen itself. These are really good. I like them. Not necessarily, at least from what I can tell, for trying to like fill up big areas. It's not letting off a lot of ink, but for nice little details, yeah, it seems really nice, real nice. Let's see if we get some of these darker colors. I mean, the colors are nice and vibrant, so that's really cool. right? It's some real nice colors. I don't know why I mean, maybe I just got a bad batch. But I mean, you guys can see that, right? It's breaking apart as far as inside the color. So, you know, it's not letting out a lot of ink when you move rather fast. Or should I say, it doesn't let out a lot of ink when you push down on it to get a nice thick line, which would be consistent in trying to fill up a big area of space. Which for me, if I'm going to be using a brush, I want to be able to have that versatility to be able to go from really thin to really thick and fill up the line, you know, or fill up the space. That's kind of a big bummer for me that this doesn't, that when I go thicker, it just kind of fades out and doesn't work. But then when you come back and you try and do really thin lines, these are great, right? These are nice for, like, I would say for detail work. All right, you can just come in here and really get some nice detail work. You gotta watch out, like some of the colors, like this looks like it should be a really dark purple, but it's not until you go over it a couple times. So, you know, it's just something that you gotta know. And it just seems like the faster you go with this pen, the less the ink can actually keep up. Try this brown. So once again, you know, going really slow, it works really nice. And when I say slow, I just mean you're, you know, really light. The slower you go, the more the ink is able to distribute itself. But coming in to do some like nice hatching, you know, you can get really nice thin lines. So this brush is great for detail work. So I'm going over a couple places to see how it's going to dry once it's done, because it looks like it dries pretty solid, you know, if you go over it a couple times, because you can see it's streaking, right? Because it's a water based, so obviously the more water you put on it, the darker it's gonna get. But what I really want to see is how it dries in the end. Let's try this black one. Ooh. Oh, okay, there we go. And so it seems as though the more saturated, or if you actually want your colors to be nice and dark, you do have to go over it a couple times. Which is not always the worst, but it's definitely not necessarily a very big plus for me. Because, you know, once again, using a brush, I really want to be able to fill in that space, and if I gotta, you know, hit it like 5 or 6, 7, 8, 10 times before it actually fills in the color, that's kind of a problem. But it is kind of an interesting effect. You know, you could almost get like this dry brush effect with these pens. So that's kind of interesting, you know. So you can actually get this really nice dry brush effect with a pen. So that's really, I mean, that's kind of interesting, you know, trying to make something out of it, even though it's not necessarily the best thing. You know, you can come in and then still do nice detail, thin lines. You know, it would be great for, I think it's great for hair. you know, so you can really make some nice hair and then come in and layer it so you can get some nice layering going. So there's a benefit there. It's just, I don't know, having to slow down my production. It's like having to slow down my production in order to make it, you know, seem like it would be worth it. Like I said, I'm slow enough as it is. I'm really trying to find a product that will not slow me down. And this one just seems like it's more for detailed work. So, but we're gonna see how this blending. It says that it's blendable, so we're gonna attempt it. Down there. Whoops. Seems to me like the colors will just on that. That could be an interesting transition from orange to red, depending on what happens there. Alright, so I mean I can see that transition. Transition from yellow to orange is a little strong. Like it's just a very big division. You're not really. And then the orange, it all of a sudden gets really dark right there, you know, when you try and blend over it again. Yeah, the biggest issue I'm having right now is this blendability. The fact that it's so, you know, when you try and go faster, it's just like nope. I guess there, yeah. Once that dries, that might actually be something. Although I probably should have went for this purple. Let's try that one again. All right, we'll do this. You guys see that? You just, you know, you try and put down some color, and it just, you know, it gives a nice dry brush effect, and that's not something I'm looking for. Different purple. So they are blendable, you know, to a point. Alright, so blend that out. To purple. Then we'll use this last purple and we'll see what happens here. Just looks like most of them lay down colors. Maybe if I was, you know, maybe if I was doing something, that just needed separate colors, or maybe it's just because I have the 12 pack, but it doesn't necessarily seem like it's really blending as well as I would hope. But let's see, draw a little eyeball or something. I mean, if you're, like I said, I think that if you're drawing small, you know, trying to do detail work, then it kind of works. Right? But, and you know, it's almost like, oh, well, I can do some quick, you know, maybe some quick, like, gesture-ish drawings, you know? So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, for me, it just seems as though it might be better served with something else. Well, like I said, sketch stuff maybe. Alright, so we just got done with trying out the Arteza Real Brush Pens, and you know, for me it just didn't seem like they were going to be worth the money to pay for, because, you know, from every pen that I actually used was dried out. Now it could just be my pack, right, that I got, that it just happens to be that way. It's possible, it does happen. But for it to consistently be that way with all of the markers, like I've had markers before that have died, and that's perfectly fine. You know, you're like, oh well, this one just dried out, or, you know, didn't get the fill. It happens. But for all of them to react the exact same way, I think that might just be the way the pen is manufactured. It wants you to do slower, detailed work, because the faster you go, the ink can't flow to the actual brush, and therefore it's like, well, you know, it gives this nice dry brush effect. So if you're looking for something that gives you, you know, a dry brush when you're really working, then these are actually pretty cool. You know, it was a nice little effect that happened, you know, something to learn to go, you know, with the pen. But if you're